All right, folks, a lot has happened in the last 24 hours, and I wanted to give you a brief update on a few issues that you have been writing into my office about: the Liberal power grab, questions around cell phone tracking during the COVID-19 pandemic, um, fraudulent calls about COVID-19 and various programs, financial assistance, and what's happening next. So, this morning at about 5 o'clock in the morning Eastern Standard Time, a deal was reached after an evening of intense negotiations on the bill that was originally predicted, or that the Liberals originally wanted to put a massive power grab in it. So thanks to my Conservative colleagues, and I want to give a special shout out to our House Leader Candice Bergen, our Finance Critic Pierre Poilievre, worked really hard. We were able to take out the key parts of the power grab. So we've removed their ability to raise taxes without Parliament's approval. We've obtained parliamentary oversight of all spending and new programs. They wanted to extend these powers to spend without oversight for a very long period of time. We've got that expiring in June. So there was a lot of things that got concessions on, and a lot of it was the feedback that we heard loud and clear from you. So what did the bill actually do? This bill, the intent of it that we did support, was to ensure Canadians were getting financial support in this really dire time. Reports as of yesterday said that last week alone, over 1 million Canadians applied for employment insurance or unemployment insurance, and that is a crazy amount. So there's questions that need to be asked about how quickly the government is responding to your requests, how fast we're getting that fund out. But now that that bill is in place, it's being debated in the Senate right now, that's going to make things go quicker. So we're very happy to push that part of the bill through. The other thing that happened yesterday was, obviously it did sit, it was suspended, it was a really intense day. There's a lot of questions that you've been asking my office about everything from implementation of these programs through to travel restrictions, through to what's happening at Rock Road. I'm trying to bring you those updates here, video by video. But yesterday I posted a 21-page document outlining the questions that I'm getting from you, and I formally asked them to the government by releasing them to the public. So if you go onto my website, mprempel.ca, you click on the news section, there's a list there of all of these questions. I'm going to continue to press the government for answers on those questions. I won't read them all out to you because it'll take an hour and a half. But my intent is to, as I'm getting those questions responded to, obviously, if you've written to me with a specific concern, I'm replying to you, but I'm going to try and post those on my website as well. So you can go to my website, mprempel.ca, to just see what that status is and some of the work that I'm doing in that regard. Two specific new issues that I have pressed the government on in the last 24 hours are, I'll start with the issue of fraudulent calls. There have been a lot of media reports in the last few days, and frankly, you've been writing into my office as well too, about telephone scams, these fraudulent calls, people calling, and it's related to the COVID-19 crisis. This is despicable. We actually did a very brief study prior to the House suspending in the middle of March, specifically on telephone scams, and you can read some of the brief on the industry committee website if you're really interested in that. Long story short, we heard from experts that the government really isn't equipped to deal with right now, and we need stronger measures. So in this time of crisis, I issued a release yesterday pressing the government to take stronger measures. And if you're interested in the specific measures that we're calling for, again, that news release and that request is on my website. As well, yesterday, Justin Trudeau was asked if he was planning on undertaking measures that other countries like Israel, I believe it's Indonesia, Singapore, they're under, or places like Singapore, they're undertaking specific measures to utilize geolocation data to assist in ensuring that people stay in quarantine and in contact tracing for confirmed cases of COVID-19. So Justin Trudeau was asked if he was considering similar measures in Canada. He said that they weren't at this time, that no option was off the table. So after this statement, even that speculation alone, I think, created a lot of uncertainty in the Canadian public. I heard about it in my office. There were news articles written about it. So I just have issued a release this morning asking the government for several key pieces of information and measures related to this. So first of all, the government needs to be transparent right now on what circumstances they would look at these types of measures. And then if they are considering them, they have to understand that even in times of emergency, we can't normalize violations of privacy without oversight or without very severe limitation of scope or without Parliament being involved in Canada. Like we have to balance the needs of public health with some of our individual freedoms. So what we've asked for is that transparency on right now, what situations they would consider using this on, parliamentary oversight of an involvement of any such a decision, ensuring that the scope of that is very restricted, that it wouldn't take place without express consent of an individual, because even geolocation data related to health is sensitive, that it would have to be very narrow in scope and time limited and temporary. And obviously there's a whole other slew of issues related to storage of data, usage of data, who sees it. So I just want to let you know I'm on top of this. I have concerns about that, and certainly won't be letting the government proceed in a black box on that. As well, I mentioned in the last 24 hours, we have put forward that massive list of questions to the government. I've also received, we're just getting deluged in my office with phone calls from the community, from constituents on questions related to repatriation of travel, applying for employment insurance assistance. If you need that information, you can go onto my website, mprempel.ca. There's a specific section for COVID-19 where I have aggregated every government resource that I've been able to find to date on how to apply for these, et cetera, like just that sort of first step of information. You can go there and have a look. But if you're encountering, and this is for my constituents, if you are encountering specific issues applying to this, please write to my office in an email, because I can't fix what I don't know is happening in the community. So it's very helpful. I want to thank many of you who have taken the time in the middle of this to just kind of let me know these types of issues are happening. So very busy past 24 hours. My team right now, we're continuing to unpack that bill because again, it was passed at 5 a.m. We're looking at some of the measures that it talked about, and we're also following the Prime Minister and their ministers' communications on this very closely and bringing that information to you. So you can stay tuned here for updates, and I'll be bringing to you some other issues as well in coming days that we are tracking and we are on top of, including what is next for the Canadian economy. mprempel.ca for more information. Please share this video. Working hard for you. Have a great day.